share the screen. And yeah, we should be ready to go as soon as people start coming in here. Okay. I guess we're ready to go. Welcome everybody to the HackFS judging session. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late, but that's okay. We got lots of time today to go over everything. Today, we are judging 650 hackers. Well, not exclusively today, maybe, but the whole hackathon includes 650 hackers from 61 countries and a total of 18 time zones. So if you are here at a time that's very early or very late for you, thanks for coming. It's a global event, and that's how it is. So lots to organize there. The judging format today, here's what we'll be doing. We'll have 4 minutes for a demo. That's for the videos. 3 minutes for judges to ask questions and a 10-minute break every 6 to 8 teams. Usually I try and have that somewhere in the middle. So yeah, we'll stop somewhere halfway through the list. The judging criteria. How will your projects be looked at? It will be based on technicality, originality, the practicality of your applications, the user interface and user experience and developer experience, if necessary, and the overall wow factor. So shoot for that one. This is not strictly a competition. Got to remind you all of that. We're all here to learn, explore what's possible with technology, and not every project is aiming to become a business. Hopefully, we're all here to get good feedback from our 2 wonderful judges. And who are those wonderful judges? We've got Ranil and Jack. Thank you so much for coming. They'll be looking at your projects today, asking questions, and hopefully scrutinizing them with intense, getting into the minutiae of everything. But I have a feeling that they're going to be pretty nice and easygoing. And so with that, we can get on to demos. The first team here is the Data Wallet and BYOF Marketplace. If you guys could raise your hands and we will promote you to panelists and get you in here.
Hello. Here we go.
All righty, cool, thank you. You guys may have to share your sound as well because it appears to be muted, which means you'll have to reshare.
Pleasures of going first. Here we go. Sorry, guys.
Don't worry, it happens a lot.
Hello, HackFS. We're Two's Complement, and we've built the Data Wallet and BYOF Marketplace to show it off. The Data Wallet hosts social graphs of trusted people so that any dApp can load data curated by specific communities.
Some context. We've had decentralized data for a long time now, but creating a Sybil-resistant method for curating indexes of data has proven to be very difficult without re-centralizing those indices. The graph has done an incredible job of tackling this complex problem with chain-based data, which has inspired us to create a user experience for user-owned off-chain data.
These great projects, and many more like them, allow people to host their own decentralized data. However, when using a dApp, most people only care about a subset of that data. Though, if we put our trust in a single party to define these subsets of data, we are re-centralizing that trust and leaving ourselves vulnerable to attackers that can spam the data set. Who can I trust? What data should a dApp load for me specifically? We experimented with these ideas on True Review at ETH Denver and realized a need for curated groups of people who are trusted so that people can pick a trusted group of people and their data for a dApp to use.
Enter the Data Wallet. First, users upload their data to IPFS and Filecoin, then index it in their IDX. Then, communities of users define groups of trusted IDX identities. And finally, users can tell a dApp to load their preferred subset of this curated data. Imagine people bringing their own data to each dApp, saying, hey, here are the people I trust, load all of their data for me to interact with, then be able to switch between communities they trust, like load my DAO, or load people I follow on Twitter, or load this other DAO like FWB, much like visiting a subreddit that aligns with your interests.
As a demo application for the Data Wallet, we built the BYOF Marketplace. Recently, several projects have either chosen or been told to take down certain parts of their dApps that are hosted on Web2 DNS. Stanny tweeted, "Bring your own front end," after the Uniswap edits, reminding people to bring their own UI, removing some of the DNS burden and risk on core developers. So here it is, the Bring Your Own Front-End Marketplace, a demo that lets users bring their own front-end to a smart contract using their curated data wallet.
The data wallet loads decentralized records from the user's list of trusted people, then shows them what front ends per smart contract are being used by each community. This allows them to select a front end and load it directly from IPFS in their browser, completely bypassing the need for DNS. The data wallet can be added to any dApp. You can author your own groups of trusted people using IDX DIDs and make those available to dApps. Identities can be added manually or imported from existing social graphs, like Twitter or Discord, maybe a DAO. Users can create their own groups or delegate to communities that they trust. Here's a demo of our code in action. So first we log in with our Ethereum wallet and get an IDX instance. We can take a look at the records that we can set. Trusted identities represent a list of DIDs of other identities we want to pull their data in. And BYOF records are for the marketplace. They point a smart contract address at a front end on IPFS through Filecoin. If you take a look at the marketplace, you can see that my personal IDX has this BYOF record, and it shows the various websites that can be available. If I load another community list of DIDs, let's say the Indie DAO, we can see different versions of that website that users have pointed to, along with verifications for how many people have set those records. So I can choose to go to the most popular one or an alternative version that maybe less people have pointed at. You can imagine how this data wallet could be dropped on any dApp to let users choose what data gets pulled in.
We're super excited to tackle this issue as it's been on our minds for over a year. We hope you enjoyed our submission and thanks for having us.
That's it.
Very cool. We got some time for questions.
Yeah, I was curious. So, like, what what group do you see kind of being the primary one interacting with this protocol? Do you think it'll be more like end users actually sort of building up these trust graphs, or do you think it'll be more like a I don't know, like you reference Uniswap, right? Like a Uniswap front end, letting you switch between versions of the front end or that kind of thing? Like just a few examples there, I think would help me wrap my head around it better.
That's a really good question. Yeah, I think that like the BYOF marketplace piece for the DNS bypassing is relevant for any dApp, especially DeFi right now because of the regulators and security scrutiny there. It allows that portion to be more community driven or curated around how the records are decentralized. But I think that the social apps, games, Twitter clones, things like that will end up using more of the actual data wallet concept where any dApp developer could just drop that in their dApp and say, hey, you tell us who you want to load data from.
And just to add on to that, we talked about probably the core use case would be groups of developers who are like the core development teams for different projects would probably be the ones that are you're delegating your trust to them typically.
So actually, yeah, on that one, Katie, sorry, I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name. Does that kind of solve for the centralization issue that you brought up? Like if you see folks just delegating to the project team to decide what version of the front end they should use?
Yeah, exactly. So we see it kind of working like a Reddit community, subreddit community, where you kind of delegate your trust, but the higher level concept to this is that there are many different sub-communities within the crypto space, and that you can switch between those different contexts to view the data that would fill in the front ends, so that you're not actually delegating that trust to a big corporation to decide for you or a big company. Instead, it's being delegated to groups of community and people that are actually incentivized to provide the right trust to those communities.
Awesome. Sorry, I don't want to monopolize all the questions.
I have a question. I was looking through your showcase, and I don't know if this was mentioned in the video, but you're experimenting with the graph to build an off-chain data mapping flow. Could you talk a bit about that and like whether that's something that you wanted to pursue after this hackathon, and like challenges you experienced getting that to work?
Definitely. Yep. I think this is super important for the community for somebody to take on. And Gus did a lot of experimentation here with the graph because most of that is already plugged into, most of the data mappings are just taking events from blockchain and then making that available through a GraphQL API that is fully decentralized in how it's hosted. And for us, we were experimenting mostly with, can we like create our own data mapping portion of the core graph code that would allow us to take other sources of events to trigger those mappings of those indexes and plug stuff like IDX or IPFS or something in. Like imagine like web3.storage API firing off an event whenever something is uploaded or pinned or a deal is brokered or something that then goes on to a pool of indexers on the graph that's then building indexes for Filecoin IPFS data. And so we as we got into that, we realized it was a much bigger problem. It would take like probably several weeks or months to build out. But we kind of sketched out how we would solve that as part of this and feel like that's a pretty important part as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I really
yeah,
like the
you can go
project.
one
I think
more
that was a oh, I just wanted to like share comments. I think that was like a really cool like a good development experience. I'm pretty sure you guys learned a lot there.
Definitely, we learned a ton. And just thinking through like how would a developer really drop the data wallet onto their dApp? Like what is the real use case? Like how would they do that and then configure their records and their schemas? There's obviously a lot we don't have time to demo, but thinking through those user flows is really interesting because it hasn't really been done a lot. Most people just bring just their own data. There's not a lot of dApps where you can like say, hey, bring my community that I care about in this context of DeFi or in this context of video games or something.
Alrighty, I think we're up to time there, but thank you so much for presenting. The
Awesome.
next team here is
Thanks, guys.
RightToken, and you guys should already be in. So if you want to share your screen and we can get going with your presentation.
Hey there, I'm Max with RightToken. So here, I'm going to share my screen right now. So can everyone see that okay?
That's great.
Sweet. All right, so I guess I'll just get started. Actually, I can't even hear this, so let's see. I'm Max Andrew, and this is RightToken. RightToken is reimagining the music industry by building a stock market for music. Currently, rights to music are opaquely spread across complex contracts using paperwork that has to be expensively parsed to distribute royalties from a number of mediums and streaming services. Instead of this, RightToken tokenizes song recording rights into a RightToken NFT. This allows rights to be machine readable, royalties distributed automatically via smart contracts, artists to monetize their work on their terms, and enables everyday investors to easily build a portfolio of songs. Here we have the RightToken Minter tool. This tool is really powerful for a couple of reasons. First, it allows artists to convert their song recording copyrights into right tokens, which are legally enforceable and can be bought and sold on a market. It also allows artists to do this on their own terms, which we'll see below, by constructing their own RightToken legal agreement. Another reason this is super powerful is because all of this RightToken metadata, like the legal agreement and the sound recording, are all stored on IPFS, which gives it a level of persistence that a lot of NFTs don't have. So now we'll go ahead and upload a song I made. You can see here the artist is given the option to set resale royalty rates. So this means that even if they sell now and their song explodes in popularity later, the artist is still partly covered because they'll be entitled to a % of each resale. And then here you can see where the artist can customize their terms for their own legal agreement. So here we're just given an example of enabling a social recovery mechanism. So that means that if the right token is ever lost or the wallet is inaccessible, the RightToken organization will be able to step in and help out. But this is just an option. So the user is free to enable this or disable this. This is a really important element because the user's choices here will decide what terms are included in the RightToken and what terms the token holder has to agree to. So you can see here a lot of other legal agreement and legal documentation, defining rights and explaining what is included. So now we'll go ahead and sign down below. And it's as easy as that. So the RightToken is sent straight to our wallet, and then we can check it out on the marketplace. We can go to the RightToken we just minted. Because RightTokens are actually an extension of Zora NFTs or ZNFTs, they can be listed and bid on Zora auction houses. So this interoperability is super important because it allows artists a much wider pool of potential investors and brings in a lot more potential investors into the RightToken community. RightToken is a community-first project built collaboratively by developers, artists, and music investors around the world. We'd love to have you join our community. We have a Reddit, a Twitter, and a Discord, and we can't wait to see you there. Sweet. So yeah, any questions? I also have some slides if that would be helpful, but any questions?
Oh, I have a lot of questions for sure.
Yeah, no, and I was actually, I was glad to see I got you.
Yeah.
I was trying to include audience, yeah.
Well, I gotta say, your little subtitles at the bottom of each page were very, very funny, and I enjoyed that. My main question really is, how does like the real world off-chain legal copyright map to the representation on chain, and then what rights do you get from that, right? Like if you buy the copyright for a track and then put that track on Spotify or one of those centralized DSPs, does like that money somehow flow back to the chain or something?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of just, I guess, kind of answering your questions backwards. So in terms of distributing royalties, that's still future work. But given that, right now, it is already possible for you to launch this and be entitled to those royalties. I actually talked to a former law professor, and she kind of assured me, I also thought it maybe sounded like I may be missing a step here or something like that. But no, she assured me that just the act of signing, the digital signature, is what enables the copyright transfer. So just having that in the RightToken with all of that legal documentation on there on IPFS, and we can go on the IPFS Explorer and see all of this. And the other great thing that I mentioned was this is all machine readable. So this enables kind of a modularity that current legal structures don't have, which is something I'm really excited to explore more. But no, so just having the RightToken and understanding that you are the owner and you're transferring the rights to the holder of this RightToken is legally binding and legally enforceable. And then what you're entitled to specifically is, at least in the US, there's kind of two different ways of looking at song rights and copyright around music. So one side is the composition, and that's the notes in the song, the lyrics of the song. What we're talking about here is actually the song recording itself. So that is just the WAV file or the MP3 file or whatever.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you're freely entitled to upload this to Audius, Spotify, all of these things, the radio, everywhere you get royalties from these, they theoretically will flow into a smart contract that then distributes it to whatever wallet's holding the RightToken. But as of right now, this is all completely enforceable and completely ready to go.
Cool. Yeah, Jack, you should go for it. I can keep asking more if I get time. But
I would love to, keep talking to you actually. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, Jack, if you don't have any other questions, the other one I was curious about. So like, if you're kind of primarily relying on the legal system to enforce, the ownership rights around this, how do you think about like the securities side of this, or have you thought about that at all yet?
I have actually. So that was actually part of the conversation I had with my professor. She said that, so securities, basically the I guess nuance to be careful about is when it's just an NFT, when it's one thing as itself, it's not a security until you shard the NFT, which was something that I was thinking about doing. So that would enable kind of fractional ownership over the NFT so that a lot of people can buy into each original song. And then there can be kind of a community around each song. So you don't have to be able to buy all of Africa or something like that, by like Tota. You can buy just 1% of it or something like that and participate in that market. So once you start doing that, that's where you get into the legal area of maybe the security. So as of right now, it's absolutely a concern and something I think about. But when it's just an NFT, I've heard from, I guess, my legal counsel that it's not a concern yet.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I guess to maybe for Jack is at Optimism. Right now it's working on Polygon, but I'm super excited about rollups. So I think that would definitely be something I'm exploring right now as well.
Nice. I actually had one quick question on the music side. So I actually have a little known fact, like some experience with music and like went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I really like this project. One question I have is, how are you accounting for the other stakeholders in the creation of a song? Like, you know, you have like this pipeline of collaborators that work together to produce the final track. So how do you account for like publishers getting like how do you account for like acknowledging a publisher's like contributions to a song?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I think that for right now, the way that I'm addressing this is by focusing on independent artists. So I think that the kind of core user I'm really seeing would be like a SoundCloud rapper or something like that for right now. I mean, once you start getting into songs that are already established, I think there's a lot to kind of untangle from the existing music industry. So there's a lot of kind of hands in the pot. I think that would absolutely get complicated, but on the bright side, the kind of machine readability, I think also makes it really easy to move forward with this once we're able to kind of build out this infrastructure more, because you can see, okay, I sampled this song here, and then based on the agreement that we got with the original artist from that song, we know that we pay them 2% of everything. Everything's a lot more transparent and a lot more automated than it is right now. So actually untangling this will be its own kind of opportunity in itself, because even though we're starting small and it won't immediately be a problem, it'll actually be easier to work on this framework than the existing framework once you have to kind of account for what the producer owns and everything. That'll all be included as part of a parsable kind of JSON object or something. Does that answer your question?
Idea.
Sweet,
yeah, totally.
All right, we got to move things along here, but thank you so much for presenting.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I really hope to, I guess, kind of keep the conversation going or anything like that if you guys have any other questions.
The next team we've got here is the Meme Lord game, which is built with JVM Metaverse. It's a big, long title. So if you could raise your hands and we will promote you here. Great. You guys can share your screen, start whenever you're ready. You can start the video.
Metaverse is expanding. More and more people and brands are joining Metaverse every day. But the current tools for Metaverse creators and users are too fragmented, not easy to use. Creators and users need a platform which seamlessly integrates blockchain, gaming, and Metaverse. Content monetization is another important element of the Metaverse. JVM is a Metaverse platform which combines 3 worlds, blockchain and gaming. We started building this during HackFS. JVM aims to provide a seamless experience to users and creators by integrating blockchain, metaverse, and gaming. Some of the capabilities we are building a JVM platform are virtual land, asset modeling, asset NFT minting, and metaverse building. Also, we aim to build IDO platform and DAO guild platforms for gamers, and also lockable content and paywall for the game subscription, and the server platform for multiplayer games and decentralized render farm. Now we introduce you to the first game we built during HackFS using JVM Metaverse platform, which is called Meme Lord Adventure. And we walk you through the game we built.
This is the first part of Lord Meme Adventure presentation game. Lord Meme Adventure game is a game about the blockchain and ETH ecosystem. We wanted to come up with something meaningful and for the community. We wanted to merge all crypto space figures in one place fighting against Moloch. The idea of the game is simple, with simple graphics. It's cyberpunk fantasy game about us, people who make history. The player will be rewarded with Digicoin coin, which could be exchanged for different NFTs, like buying keys and open chests or relics and some handmade meme weapons which you can add to the character profile in the game. The player will start with basic gear to go through these not easy times. When you start to level up, more things will open to you, like skills, like other things like prank meme skills, so you can do more. We were thinking to add skill tree, so people can choose their fate.
The technologies that we're using, one of them is Polygon, and that's for our game asset NFTs and the ERC20 token, which is Degen. We're also using Web3 storage with IPS for game assets and NFTs, Superfluid for our game pass and then a subscription within the game, Equivalent, and that's for our token balance, and then Unlock Protocol, which is for lockable content that you can find within the game or render throughout the game.
So we have used the NFT ERC721 token standard to create NFTs, use Polygon to deploy, using Truthful, Web3 storage for the NFT content storage and for the file storage. Superfluid we have used to create the Game Pass subscription, and we've used JS SDK to build it, and Covalent to get the token balance for the game players, and Unlock Protocol for the Meme Lord lockable asset files. And the core team is mentioned here, and this is how you can get involved. Welcome to share feedback.
All right, I think it's question time.
Press play to win with Oreo. Press play to get front row. Press.
Yeah, super cool, guys. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, my main question, I guess, is sort of you see this being kind of like an SDK or tool chain of sorts, right? Like, could you talk through how this compares to the way that folks would develop a kind of like play to earn game today?
Yes, maybe Ed, you want to take a stab at it, or should I explain a little bit?
You go, George.
Okay, so yeah, so Ronald and Jack, hi. So essentially, we consider this like a kind of a metaverse platform as a service. So yes, we're building this tool chain, and the idea we have is to provide a whole range of tools and a full ecosystem to the game creators and players to kind of use this metaverse to host and run their games and monetize the content and the game activities. Yeah. So, and we just wanted to demonstrate the first example. So this is the game which we built, which Ed will explain a little bit more. But essentially, that is one manifestation of this platform. But Ed, maybe if you want to explain the game a little bit quickly.
Yeah, yeah, the idea born itself, and I thought like Meme Lord Adventure would be more like a coordination game through the like blockchain, and for the people who involved or wants to involve with the blockchain. It is a game like especially developed, I think, to make a blockchain Ethereum ecosystem more mainstream, because they will be heroes, which is presented now on crypto Twitter. We can have a bankless DAO, maps, we're burning banks. So it's a meme for the people, for the community. And we wanted to make it like community-driven game so people can add their own contribution, changing the game, grow it, because there's so many games and we wanted people to have fun with the Vitalik Buterin characters, or Elon Musk, like it was an example. It's just a meme, and we wanted to connect maybe other metaverses and make it like coordination game with a quest to make people learn and maybe earn in the future. This was the idea, because I was looking on a whole thing of gaming and is developing, and there is not games which will educate, and like these kind of games where like it could be a meme game where, meme game, a prank game, basically. Maybe without the future goal, but for the community, it could be a hub for the community where people can meet and, like a DAO, little DAO space, basically. Yeah.
And how much of that game is built? The Meme Lord game.
We started, and we built a room, maybe 2 rooms, but we couldn't present like a whole walkthrough because the time was so limited, basically. And we used the engine, Unreal, one of our designers. So we tried to, like couple rooms, but not even level, because it will take probably us more time and probably like maybe a couple months to actually build a level. So we tried our best, but the idea born there, and we think it could like bring people, like more people to the crypto space because it's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, on the technology. Sorry, Jack, please go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead.
No, I was just trying to bring in our other colleague like Nick in the conversation. So from technology perspective, if Nick, if you want to comment anything for the judges to understand what we used, yeah.
Yeah, we've used React on the front end, and then to build out the site on the front end, and then we have Web3 storage. We have we're using Alchemy and Hard Hat. Some of the technologies that we have involved. I don't know if any other questions.
Yeah, I had one question. Were you guys inspired by Engine at all? Have you guys heard of Engine? They have a game platform that reminded me of your project. It's built on Ethereum.
Yeah, I heard of Engine, but I've not closely kind of or not done a deep dive understanding of that platform. I know it's a very popular platform, but we'll be learning about it. Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities with your project. So I think you could learn a lot from like looking at their code base and how they launch projects. But I think we definitely need more. We need more projects doing that. Like Engine can't be the only project that's like, like Ethereum can't be the only blockchain. Engine can't be the only gaming platform out there.
Thank you. Thank you,
Jack.
Thank you.
I think we have to move on to the next project. Thanks for presenting. The next group here is InnovaTract. I hope I got your name correct. And yeah, we will promote you guys, and you can present whenever you're ready.
All right, great. Yeah, InnovaTrack is the proper pronunciation. Thank you. And let me get my screen shared and we'll do this. We all enter into contracts with other people, and other entities, employers, financial institutions on a regular basis and hardly think anything of it. But in doing so, we help others, often people we've never met, accomplish their goals and their desires. What if there was a way that you could enter into a contract with yourself in order to accomplish your dreams and your goals as fast as you accomplish the desires and dreams and hopes of others that you enter into contracts with? Well, now you can with InnovaTrack. InnovaTrack allows any user to enter into a binding contract with themselves on the blockchain by entering a name of a goal, establishing an end date, and staking a certain amount of funds. The user determines how fast they will accomplish their goals under the threat of losing those funds forever. By enforcing serious, immutable consequences, InnovaTrack helps individuals accomplish their goals far faster than they ever would on their own without such a personal agreement that is binding and unchanging. InnovaTrack's front-end user interface allows any user to easily enter into a contract on their own. A user simply enters the name of their goal, a deadline date, and stakes an amount of way, and then submits the contract. Currently, this feature is only available through GitHub, but it will very soon be uploaded to AWS using EC2. Through Remix, a user is able to create a contract, mark that contract as having been fulfilled, and accept the fulfillment, or mark the contract as being unachieved. The InnovaTrack smart contract has been deployed on the Polygon Matic blockchain and burns a small amount of gas for every transaction that it handles. In the future, my team and I would like to deploy the contract with a front-end user interface using AWS, as previously mentioned, and expand on the features of Innova contract with check-ins that will check in with the user every 7 days to check on the progress of their goal. We would also like to create a DOA with a governing body that can verify that goals were achieved. Currently, InnovaTrack is on the honor system, and we would like to see a little more accountability. InnovaTrack is the future of single entity contracts, helping dreamers rapidly achieve their goals as they have never done before.
Cool, we got time for questions.
I'll go first. I think I've seen this idea before, but I think it's really, I haven't seen it deployed to Polygon. So I think it has a lot of potential to be on Polygon because the transaction charges are so darn cheap that you can enter into a contract with yourself like multiple times a day. And yeah, like that, I could see myself using it on Polygon. But if it was on mainnet, less likely because the gas fees are high. Right. Yeah, what features do you see adding in the near future?
Definitely the check-in intervals is something that we wanted to add in here. We were looking at doing that off the blockchain to reduce the amount of data that we'd be actually writing to the blocks. And we were hoping to do that with Fluence, but just our unfamiliarity with Aquamarine and Rust have prevented that from happening in this time period. But that's definitely the next thing that we want to do, add in those checkpoints, get the front end deployed on AWS so it's easy for a user to interact with. And then in the future, like the next step would be to begin creating that DOA and thinking of that process or DOA.
Nice. It's exciting to see.
Yeah, we really enjoyed this project. And then, as you mentioned, like the gas fees being so cheap on Polygon, is next to nothing. We actually couldn't believe how cheap it was to deploy the contract on Polygon versus like the Ethereum mainnet, and how much Ether we needed for that. And then it was nothing. It was less than $1 to deploy to Polygon. So using that, I'd always thought of this as a longer term goals, but given the affordability on Polygon, this could absolutely be for near term and short term goals as well, to help people who tend to procrastinate really get that done.
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah.
Thanks.
I love the idea and concept. Like it's, the commitment device kind of structure is a great way to hold yourself accountable. I was curious, like, why you all, if you yourself are the one that's attesting that, the commitment's been met or whatever, why do you all feel like this should be decentralized right now?
Yeah, so I think it should be decentralized right now because that's the easiest way for a person to enter into a binding contract with themselves. We make deals with ourselves, like I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. and then we sleep in. It's so easy. But if you have money on the line, if you put $500 on the line, whatever is a significant amount of money for you, then you're going to get up because you don't want to lose that $500, right? And so
no, I get that. I guess I'm confused about, like, if I'm putting up the money and then I am also the one that says that I met the conditions, is that different from, I don't know, like me putting an envelope full of money on my nightstand and saying, okay, when I get up in the morning, I get this, otherwise I need to light it on fire or something.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely a weakness of the DApp in its current phase, and that's why we feel like it needs a DAO in order to really have weight, have a governing body of peers that will ask for proof, some kind of a product or something tangible to see that this thing was done.
Cool.
It's interesting stuff. I think we are about up for time here, so we're gonna have to move along.
Thank you all.
To the next group, but thank you for presenting.
Sure. Absolutely.
The next group here is EtherBlacklist.
Hi.
You can present whenever you're ready.
Hello, I will present you EtherBlacklist, which enables to blacklist scams addresses using NFTs. So everyone knows that the ecosystem is full of hacks and scams, and people, but even protocols can be targeted, as we saw this week with the Poly network hack. I think everyone is also aware of all these bots which come in all the social networks to ensure you to double your cryptocurrencies. The problem is that blockchains are trustless environments and funds can easily be lost or stolen. So I will take back the example of the Poly network hack. We can see that Etherscan has tagged this address using several keywords and linking some information related to the hack. You can also see that Poly network asked on their Twitter to each exchanges and protocols to blacklist the address of the hackers. So these approaches are mostly centralized and there is a lack of accessibility to the data and transparency. So we want to provide a way to improve it using NFTs and dropping them to the bad actors. So how does EtherBlacklist works? First, we have to identify the bad actors. It can be done in a community collaborative process using a DAO or any dispute resolution platform. After, we have to drop them some NFTs which will be untransferable and unburnable, and then any protocols and app will be able to easily check for their existence and to implement automatical checks. So what EtherBlacklist brings to the ecosystem? The blacklist will be stored on chain, so anyone can access why, how, and who. Smart contracts can also implement some restrictions using such NFTs, and they can also warn the users if they are trying to interact with a bad actor, for example. Now it's time for the demo. Okay, so we are on the Ether blacklist page, so we can enter an Ethereum address to check if it has been blacklisted. So first I will connect with my MetaMask and enter my address. We can see that I don't hold any blacklist marks, so you can enter it safely with me. If you want to send a transaction, everything will be good. Now I will check for this address, which was involved in the Polynetwork exploit a few days ago. You can see that it is identified as a hacker. So if you want to still send a transaction to him, you will have a warning asking if you are sure to continue. Now I will check for this address, which holds two other marks identified as a scammer and extortionist. And if I go on his wallet, so this is the same address, and we can see that it holds the two marks identified as NFT. So what's coming next? We will establish a sustainable business model, then we will focus on the DAO to provide a community-curated list of bad actors, and also to be able to fix and to burn marks if the community raised that they are not valid. We will also provide a user-friendly interface to assist in the mark definition and airdrop process. Thank you. Feel free to contact us.
Great. Question time.
I really liked the idea, mostly because I thought of something similar. Like 2 days ago when I was in the shower, I was like, somebody needs to make a blacklist for hackers and scammers. So I love this idea. And I think it's really great that you just drop the hacker like an NFT and then you're able to mark them that way. One potential issue I see there is like if they transfer that NFT, like once they receive that. Like, do you have a way to prevent them from being able to like get rid of the NFT once they receive it?
Actually, it's untransferable and unburnable. So you have to stay with this mark.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's really great. Because then apps can easily, the way I'm seeing this, like the NFT airdrop, it's like this like utility, because then if someone has the NFT, then you can just restrict a whole bunch of features from an app. So I think there's a lot of potential in this in regards to like integrating with other apps. Yeah, I think you could easily partner with a bunch of apps that would be happy to accept something like this.
Yeah, sure. Actually, we have developed several functions in the contract allowing to check for a dedicated mark in order to have a Boolean way to check for the existence of the user in a specific blacklist. And also we have the function that we use in the demo in order to list every single mark that dedicated address currently owned.
Yeah, I like the idea a lot too. I think it's there needs to be a better way of tracking this. Two things I was curious about. So like one, how, I guess, have you thought about like disputing this? Like if I'm like, oh, Jack's my friend, I'm gonna mess with him, so I'm gonna like blacklist his address and see what happens. Like, how would you handle that? Is sort of question one, and then question two is I guess what keeps someone from like transferring the assets at the blacklisted address to another address? Is there some way you could like potentially have anything that address sends to get like tainted also or something?
Sami,
yes, so I will answer the first question. So, sorry, I have a really bad connection, so if it's lacking, Geoffrey will come back. So for the selecting the bad actors, so we want, of course, we want not to be the centralized entity which will decide who is blacklisted. So we want to use a DAO, vote, or even Kleros or any dispute resolution platform. But during the hackathon, we just focus on providing the functional use case, and we voluntary make this part off, but we do not want to be centralized because this can really bring a lot of centrality in blockchain. So we don't want it. And also there is several lists which can coexist. For example, if Coinbase wallet or any wallet wants to issue its own list of bad actors, they can issue their own, and the community can also create another to be used for whoever who wants. And for the question two, I will let Geoffrey answer.
Yes. So as we mentioned, for now the token cannot be transferred, and it's complicated to know if it's a good thing to identify people that has already interacted with a market address, because in the case of scammer, the victims have not to be finger pointed because they have been scammed. So it's a case by case. There is no generic answer to this question, I guess.
Yeah, I guess more it's like if my address gets blacklisted and I just make a new wallet address and transfer my assets there or something like that, is there anything you could do to prevent that type of behavior?
No, we cannot cover all use cases. That's why we are focusing on warning users for the scams. But of course, the bad actor can always open a new wallet.
It's just the same issue with email address. If the address you're using to scam people is blacklisted, you can create a new one and do the same thing again.
Makes sense, yeah. But yeah, at least you know, getting that first one marked would be good. So understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for presenting.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next team. And the next team is royalty-free NFT. So if you guys, I'm not sure if you're promoted.
Yes, hello. I will share my screen right now.
And after this one, we're going to have a 10-minute break.
Introducing royalty-free NFT. We are a group of 5 developers and creatives who want to make it easy to license artistic work and sell it for use, all without using any intermediaries. Currently, the only options are centralized big license houses who siphon billions of dollars a year away from creatives. Our mission is to change this. We aim to bring the control back to the creators in an open and transparent way. Do this by leaving you in control. When you go to the token factory, you will get your own NFT contract. This contract controls the intellectual property as well as generates income from the license sales. Your files will always be decentralized because they're stored on IPFS using textile buckets. The licensee can be rest assured that they're not infringing on your copyright as long as they have possession of the NFT that you sold them. It's structured in such a way that the first NFT on the contract is actually the owner of the contract as well. This master token works just like any other NFT. All subsequent tokens after it are the license tokens. When you first come to the platform, you can see images, videos, and music that other people are licensing for use. When you're ready to license your work, you'll be presented with this page that will upload your work to IPFS. You will then be presented a MetaMask transaction. This transaction is creating your smart contract. You have full control and access over this, and this is where you sell your license. Any contract that you have ownership over will show up here in the ownership portal. From here you can do administrative tasks such as change the license price or turn off minting. To maintain our mission to be fully decentralized, the next step is to create a DAO. A percentage of the sales will go to the DAO treasury. This will be used by community members whose grants have been funded by the members of the DAO. We hope that you come join the Discord so you can get involved with the DAO. Thanks for your time.
Yes, so this was a presentation.
Yeah, I think just my question off the bat would be like, how does this kind of compare to the sort of other NFT marketplaces, you know, and you know, the others that are also sort of you know, fee free on the network like Zora?
You mean to other decentralized networks?
Yeah.
Yes, so this so this was more to like to be competitor of more centralized services. So other than centralized services which are similar to this would be a kind of competitor in our case. So yes, that's currently it's just similar features, but more like centralized services are more like direct competitors for now.
So compared to the decentralized kind of markets for NFTs, do you see this kind of being comparable?
Yes, so this is for contents like audio or image or video contents. So this kind of things can be done on our platform in the MVP.
Cool. Okay.
I think Nicholas wants to say something. He's on mute.
Also, yeah, in addition to what George just said, the underlying contracts are not dealing with ownership, but mostly with the permission to use the content in some way creative, because we are very concerned about the ownership of the assets, and for that reason, like we're not trying to create like new ways of enforcing law or treat these NFTs in a way that regular artworks never have. Like we don't see that as a problem to solve in the creator economy. We consider the problem is that first, artists are underpaid due to the existence of like a myriad of middlemen, and that's why we're just bringing the tools for them to use it. And also that's why the DAO it's in there, because we want them to just not be the competition of marketplaces, but better be a new way for the artists to put their artworks and let others use it with certain terms that makes it like a sustainable business instead of just the Wild West as it seems as it is seen now. Yeah.
I have a quick question on you deploying to Polygon. I guess I'm like wondering why you would deploy to Polygon if you wanted to have this be a market that's more for, it's supposed to be a competitor to centralized providers that currently exist. So do you intend to kind of like evolve the platform into being a decentralized platform in the future after you kind of like, I guess, like build a presence in the centralized marketplace world?
Yes, so this is already decentralized what we are building. This is not centralized. I just mentioned centralized because it's alternative to that. So for now, it's already decentralized. It's uploading files on IPFS and have deployed contracts on Polygon also.
And adding to that, I think everything boils down to the scalability, and I think Polygon will make it easier to have like multiple transactions, mostly because our technology, if you see it technically, we are just creating factories, like contract factories for the users. So there's gonna be like several kinds of transactions that need to be taken, and so Polygon seems like a good fit to have like kind of batches of transactions that are gonna be piling up. Yeah, it's cost effective mostly.
Great. I think that is all the time that we have. Thank you for presenting. We're going to go to a quick 10-minute break, which means we'll be back at 1:50 Eastern time. And for every other time zone, it's whatever 10 minutes is from now. The next team that will go after that is googly.eth, googly.f. It's one of those. If you could please raise your hands so that we're all ready to resume when we come back, that would be excellent. And for everyone else, I'll see you in 10 minutes. Alrighty. I think we're about ready to get back to it. Just wait for our judges and we can get on with googly.eth or ETH. Which one is it? We're going to find out.
Googly
ETH. Both of them were wrong. All right. But close enough. I hope. We're here for Renil. Sweet. You can get going with the video whenever you're ready. Great. Question time.
Could you guys describe, I didn't quite get exactly what the main purpose of the project was. I saw the tagline at the end said it's a blockchain-based notary service, but in your showcase description, you describe it as a place to back up data. So is it solely for notaries, or is it like bigger than just being able to get documents signed and verified and store it on IPFS?
Bigger than just that. Like it basically, you upload documents, and if you want, you can add other users to it, but the documents get composed to a single page that's stored as a hash, which is the document. So the URL is the actual website. It's not actually hosted anywhere. And then, or if they want, it'll have verification to check identity, and then people can sign documents, make sure they're all looking at the same piece, all sign it and then get an NFT showing that everyone signed it, all the hashes of the signatures, the documents, so that it's, and then on the blockchain.
Got it. The NFT is pretty cool. Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting things you can do with just bringing document signing on chain, just because you can have you have the programmability of smart contracts. So you can go to all kinds of incentives that would be better than like using something like DocuSign or the other centralized services that exist.
Yeah, we want to build in a bunch of like KYC verification services that are optional, but where if someone does all of them, it's definitely that person. Like voice analyst, live face detection, ID scan, so that it's like it's them. Do a fingerprint print scan with the phone, so it's, and then can clearly identify it's that person, but still keep it anonymous. Whereas they can have the verification that it's them in the name, but they don't have to disclose any of their other details. But through the platform, people know that it's verified. And
right.
We want to kind of have some like contract side to it, where we want to create an open source repository for people to upload contracts. And then if they're used, have a reward system based on the content that was used, if they were the original person, if not, person that they got some of the content from, kind of have everything scanned in and a proper reward system. So everyone that was on the chain of people along that implemented that document gets a little bit of their piece because they inspired that person, which inspired that person, etc.
That sounds pretty cool.
Kind of build up that side as well. And then if someone needs a contract, there's a whole repository of them for them.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
If you could, I do a quick live showing of it?
Please, yeah, that would be great. I was looking at the website and or the the live demo link, and it looks pretty sweet.
So basically, this is the main page. People can put in an email address, add another signer, a witness. Can go to upload a document. It's a document, submit it. Takes a couple seconds. And then uploads okay, gets the Web3 stores checked. And then you can click here to approve another user, and then the unlock will pop up so that you can check the user. And then just for time, so you can get the hash of everything with the document, all the signers on it, and then has the IPFS link. And then, sorry, that was just hidden by that. Can do the documents, like can click on an NDA, pick the dates. And then it kind of inputs the user 1, user 2, where they need to go in the document, and then can get that as a hash back as well after everyone's signed through. And then that can be converted into a QR code so that it can be backed up that way. And the QR code has password protection on it. So, and it kind of does it into a short URL. So basically in the NFT, you would have the full uncompressed hash as kind of like the master or the private key of the file. And then the short one with the password could be like a public one that they send around and share. If someone gets it, it's password protected and they don't have access to anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. I can easily see this taking over DocuSign in the near future.
Awesome. Well,
yeah, I love this idea too, like dating back to, I don't know if you all ever came across this project Stampery a long time ago, and a number of others like, 6-7 years ago. I think this is clearly like a great use case for decentralization, at least clearly to me, but no one cracked the nut around making it usable enough. One quick question, I guess, if we have the time, on the password protected access, is there some like encryption setup or something that protects that, or is it basically kind of you know, like not the UI won't let you view it if you don't have that password.
Yeah, it just won't open up the file.
So
It'll
like if
just
I
kinda
went
go
to the IPFS, could I still get it, or
if you had the CID from IPFS, yes, but you wouldn't have the completed thing with signatures. And the website with the signatures is just generated from the URL hash. So technically, if someone didn't give you that hash, if someone just typed that, they would come up with the same document. So unless it actually came from them, there's no way to prove that it's the right one. So even if someone typed it randomly and found something, it could just be that they randomly typed something that coded that.
yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Just to add something, the short answer is the website, the HTML page you saw is not stored in PFS. The base 64 of the page is stored in the URL itself. So that's the security part, and the URL shortener basically is just password protecting the long URL. So the base 64 URL.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're effectively like centralizing that kind of password protection mechanism, but the kind of okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it could be cool to you know, like as an extension explore, like, you know, if you could have trustless password protection, that would be some, you know, some encryption mechanism or something potentially. But yeah.
We're looking at including new cipher, so that
cool.
can give documents and people can give private keys, a unique private key to someone to access it. So then it'll be
that would be super cool. That's like next level, right? Where no one has the decrypted content. It's like the keys sharded across.
Yeah, it's all encrypted and everyone has their own decryption key for it.
That's pretty neat. Cool.
And then all the components are stored in Docker containers on IPFS as well. So everything is completely decentralized.
All right. Well, that looks like a cool project. Thank you so much for presenting it. The next team up is Cordify. So you guys should be promoted. If you could share your screen. And we can get going. Your view appears to be muted. Sorry. You will need to reshare on Zoom again with audio.
Codify is a decentralized record-keeping service for codes which uses IPFS for evidence collection. It uses Polygon network in the blockchain side and uses the API of Infura for the IPFS. The Polygon contract is verified, as you can see here. Basically, it has 4 tabs right now. One's the home, then the create. This is for creating a case. This is for uploading the evidence for each cases, and then to view a case detail. So let's go back to home and click create. It asks for a few details like the date, the state, the district, the code, the petition ID, the name, and the type. So we can fill in the details like the date can be today's, the state, let's say state 1, district 2, code 3. Petition ID can be 0 as well as a particular number. If the person is already in the system, then he can add the petition ID as the corresponding ID address, ID number. Else, he can just put it as 0, and in the place of name, he can add his name, petitioner name, and the type of the case. Let's say it's 2. That's a random number based on the type of case. And we can click create. It's waiting for confirmation. The case is created, and as you can see, the case ID is 2, and we can view the transaction. It's successful. go back. Now we can either upload an evidence or go back. Let's first go back and check the case details. And you can see the view of the records, case number, the dates, the state, district, variation, and type. And let's now upload in evidence. Case number is 2. And choose file. Let's open it. Blockchain.jpg, upload, uploading to IPFS. It's uploaded to IPFS and now it's writing to the blockchain. Let's give it the gas. Confirm. Upload is complete. Let's go back and just view the details. Case number is 2. View details. As you can see, that is the image we try to upload. So that's a basic overview of Codify and how this works. There is a lot of possibilities on how we can improve this and how the smart contract is written on the smart front end and the back end integration is done. So there is a lot of room for improvements and we are looking forward to it. Thank you.
It's cool that Googly and you all went back to back, because there's a lot of similarity. So yeah, I think it seems super cool. I'm curious where kind of you all see decentralization kind of being most helpful here.
So the thing is like we are from India, so we have a very old system of keeping records. So it's mainly paper based. So if there becomes some problem in the paper, so there are incidents like fire and all those things. So if that document is missed or those document is misplaced, that is gone forever. So this is something which we are trying to solve with this solution, and this is just a basic version. So starting with like we can have this as an initial pilot program in a small district court or something like that, and to prove that yeah, this is a working proof of concept and it can be scaled to a very high level even for a big country like India. And then we can move on with more things included in that. So first of all, we wanted to give this as a proof of concept, but then we can also add like this might sound weird when we just passed after googly.eth, but this is something which we were also thinking like to provide the judges or the people who are going to give the results on these cases can have write those data or those results into these cases alongside these things. So that will also be record keeping. So it will be tamper proof. It will be always in the blockchain. So it will be accessible by anyone. So these are some things which we see as an improvement to the system.
Cool.
Yeah, I think this is a really, from my like short experience of like seeing the kind of work that's done at courts, I think this is a major improvement into like, well, at least from what I've seen in the US, it's a major improvement. Like it's all done with paperwork and like old computer systems. What features do you think of adding next to what you currently have in this project?
So we started with the file system so that these are mainly saved in the blockchain and the IPFS. But also we were thinking like to provide the verdicts and the judgment of each cases to these things, like as Google said, like notarizing with it with each advocates and each judge's details. So these will always be tamper proof and will not be editable or is easily accessible by anyone. So we can see that there are many cases where other cases are referred back, and these can be easily accessible by each time whenever these kind of things happen. So this is something which we see as an improvement to the current system.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right. With that, I think we're on to our next team. Thank you so much for presenting.
Thank
The
you.
next group here to go is Disco Rock Repo. That's a very exciting name. If you guys could raise your hands, we can get you in here. And there we go. Yeah, present whenever you're ready.
Okay, awesome.
Hi everyone. Disco Rock Repo is a storage and retrieval app for audio and video files. The app uses the Textile Hub to store the files on IPFS for short-term storage, where an IPNS link is generated for quick and easy file retrieval. For longer-term storage of music or video playlists, files are archived on Filecoin, where plans for future iterations would be to build a large data store of music and videos covering the time periods and music genres. Let's see a quick demo. Details on how to generate this key are in the README. So using the unique key from my Textile Hub account, I'm able to access the 6 buckets that I have in this particular repo. Let's take a look inside of one of them. So I use this app to store all of these files in these individual buckets. The one we're looking at is disco music from the 1970s. You see, we have files in there, Donna Summer, video files. These are all pretty much video files. Some are just purely audio. But let's say that you wanted to go and you wanted to listen to one of the files, or you wanted to watch one of the videos associated with it. If you click on this very cool IPFS link, and there you go. So you could watch your videos, you could listen to your music. Very, very cool. So once you're done building your playlist, you can store it on Filecoin, right? So here you can choose the miner that you want to deal with. Let's say that you want to do it with 4 different miners and just let the program choose who the miners are. Your time period, so this is, what is it, 6 months? And your maximum price. If you clicked on this, it would send it off to Textile Hub, making deals with different miners based on the parameters that you chose here, which is very, very cool. Okay. The app was deployed to IPFS using Fleek, and a URL to it can be found in the README. Okay. In addition to expanding the music library and improving functionality of the app, I plan on adding pay for building a playlist feature, where users can pay to build a playlist using Filecoin or Polygon. As we see, there is a MetaMask hookup. See, we could hook up our MetaMask account there on this upper right toolbar. Thanks for watching.
But yeah, just off the bat, I love the idea of kind kind of, creating these music repositories, and giving people the freedom around that. With respect to like the 60s and 70s music, how does the licensing for that work, or like, is that content licensed right now?
Some is licensed, some has gone off license. I guess it depends on what you pick. And I chose that period of time because we're starting to see a lot of people are really concerned about having a YouTube account and their personal information being tapped into. A lot of people are migrating over to Rumble because they trust that more so. So the idea of decentralizing something like this would be, I think, would be a layup for them, and it would be a good solution for that problem of keeping their personal information private.
That's cool. So there's, I guess, there's a kind of an easy way to find this like royalty-free or no license needed music from that time period. That's awesome. And yeah, I could totally see, other, we come across this use case like in our work at Audius often. Like there are a lot of folks who want to kind of archive historical content in a way that's like, permanent, right? And that doesn't really exist. So yeah, super cool.
Awesome.
What are you thinking for smart contract features? I know you have like MetaMask there on the app. So what are you thinking there?
Well, I'm thinking that would be like the hookup of giving the users an option to make their own playlists and a way for them to pay for it. So you would think, as you mentioned for one of the other presentations, that Polygon is so cheap that you could, users could go nuts, make a lot of playlists, download a lot of songs, and make a lot of files using Polygon. Although Filecoin is a bit more expensive. I kind of really haven't figured out that particular part of it. But that would be, I guess, like a payment mechanism, and that's how I would introduce the smart contracts into it, to make playlists.
How does discoverability of the repos work? Like, how do like if I just stumble on the website, like what is my browser going to find what repos exist?
Okay, if you take a look back at the video, the link that you have is wrong. So I'm gonna update that because I was tinkering around this morning and I actually knocked it offline. But so I'm trying to create like just a big data store of many samples. We've only been working on this for 2 weeks, so that's kind of, it's very labor intensive. So if you looked at this, say 3 to 6 months from now, I mean, you're going to see a much bigger library of offerings, and they're all in, the different types of genres, the different recording artists would be in textile buckets. So you could get an IPFS address and you could go straight into it and take what you need from it.
Yeah, I actually I more meant from the kind of technical perspective. So like when I guess like if there's sort of many of these repos, is there some registry of them that like my browser can go pull that list from, or how does that work?
I see. Okay, so now that would be another feature where we kind of have like a database where you could search, Donna Summer or Led Zeppelin or whatever, and it would access the database, and then it would point you to downloading that. I mean, that would have to be something that would be added.
Okay. Oh, that's all good. I was just curious. It looked like it was able to list quite a few there of like the top level things. Cool.
Yeah, what you're seeing are the actual buckets themselves. So you could have clicked on one of those offerings and you could have seen the contents inside of those buckets.
So if I make a new bucket, does it get added to that list somehow?
Right. So now that's, let's say you're you're opening your own account, or you have your own Textile Hub account.
Oh,
And-
I see. So it's coming
Right.
from Textile. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, I didn't mean to like go way down. I was just trying to wrap my head around it. That makes sense.
That's okay.
All right, very cool. I think with that, we are on to our last team here. Thank you for presenting.
Thank you so much, guys, for the opportunity.
The last team to go here, but certainly not least, is Puma.
Hey folks, I work at Puma because I have a Puma sticker. All right, should I start the video?
Yeah, present whenever you're ready.
Cool. Sound. Hi folks, my name is Yuri. I'm with Puma. And as part of this hackathon, we thought we'd ship a few features, or at least start on the few features that we always wanted Puma to have. And so even though Puma is kind of like an ongoing project that we're building, all the demos and all the things I'm going to be talking about today were built as part of the hackathon and this weekend. And it's also super early, so a lot of things are pretty hard coded. But the three big things that we're building and hoping ship live in the coming months are the Ethereum wallet support, the unlock protocol support, and the Web3 storage support. And so for the Ethereum wallet, what you'll see today, you'll just be able to, we just kind of load in hard-coded a couple of wallets that we have for lock owner and lock user, kind of key holder. And then the unlock protocol is able to, so we're able to detect if a page has a lock on it as a first step. And then you can also buy the or get the lock sort of key if you want to. And then the third one is the least progress we've made on the weekend, but we're hoping to ship somewhere soon, is on the Web3 storage, where you'll be able to set your API key for your storage and be able to save pages. I think it's really awesome to be able to archive pages, whether you want to read them later or for posterity or for like public data set reasons. And we're really excited for you to be able to do that through Puma. And without further ado, let's jump into some demos. Let me see, let's share the screen. Hope you can see it. All right, yeah, so here's Puma. We'll get you the links to test flight hopefully soon. And so the first part is the Ethereum wallet. If you go to settings and Ethereum account, right now we're kind of hard-coded a couple of accounts, one for the lock user, but this is his or her Ethereum wallet. And again, don't worry about the private key being shown right now. It's on testnet. It says hackathon, so move fast and record private keys for everybody to see on YouTube. But you can see the address and the private key here, and then depending on the lock, so we also had to manually one of the demo locks that we created for the demo, and you can see that the user, I think we need to relink them. Yeah, so you can see for this particular lock, the user has the key, and then as a lock owner, you also have a key and slightly different balance. And then the get key button is the one that will be able to buy the keys with. Right now, both of the users already have the key, so get key does nothing, but that's how we got them in the first place. And then if you go to a page that has a lock on it, for example, this one, you can see that right now we'll just demo you like, hey, found a lock on this page. Again, in the future, you'll be able to buy a key or actually access it if your account has the particular key. And then the last thing is the Web3 storage settings. Again, still working on it, so it's kind of like work in progress, but you'll be able to paste your API key here, save it, and then go and save whichever page you want to your storage, and maybe share the link with public in the future. Cool. Hope you like it, and we're going to continue working on it later this year and hopefully ship it soon. Thank you so much. Cool.
So you built a browser from scratch, right?
Yeah, so to to clarify, Puma is my ongoing project, is my company. But I love participating in hackathons and shipping new real features that will eventually go into production. And we did that in the past, actually, at the DeFi hackathon before the lockdown, but some of the things didn't get shipped. But big fan of kind of like making sure that the work that is started on a hackathon is not in vain and sees the light eventually. But again, everything is pretty like hard coded and rudimentary. And I didn't demo at the last part, but if you paste, like right now you can't. What we want to do is we want to, when you're on a particular page, similar, I don't know if you use Pocket or any other like read it later type of app. So we want you to be able to just like, store something for offline user, pin it to your browser, kind of cache where you'll be able to read it on a subway or other places. But right now, if you paste an API key, we just load all the files in the list in the settings as a way for you to just click on them and see that, which again, like hackathon, so it's pretty fast, but actually kind of working. And then narrator kind of like alert is that the test flight is still being approved by Apple, so we're still waiting for the build to be approved by Apple. So, but as soon as we have a test flight link, I'll share it with you.
Nice. Yeah, it definitely wowed me because I wasn't expecting a mobile browser. Very cool, especially with like the built-in NFT feature with like being able to detect if there's a lock on a page.
Yeah, we started with privacy focus and micropayments and a lot of other fun stuff. We resolved Handshake, ENS, and a bunch of other things, but we kind of like snoozed on having an Ethereum wallet. We thought that thing would be figured out by now, but still wide open market, and definitely excited to bring a fully proper Ethereum wallet. And then Unlock Protocol, I've known Julian for many years, and it's like nice to finally partner up and officially collaborate. And then Web3 storage again, like I've known IPFS folks before they were cool, and so we've had like IPFS preview support in a while and kind of quiet beta. We want to make sure that it's very, very good once we ship, but it's been there for a while.
Nice.
Well, Yuri, it's good to see you. It's been a month or
likewise.
two, I think, since Miami. And yeah, obviously, I'm a big fan of Puma and everything you all do. I was wondering, is the code for this going to be open sourced? I saw when I clicked through the repo, it shows the repository is empty.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out. So we'd love to be open source, and if we go the direction of a network and a token, then definitely everything's going to be open source. Right now, we're still a private company with venture backed, so it's like we're being very mindful with promising the open source of the browser, because it's really easy to open source it. It's really impossible to take it back. Mm-hmm. So for now,
no, I get that. I get that. I guess just like the hackathon stuff, or maybe it doesn't make. You can't really do that, right? That's not, maybe that doesn't really make sense.
Another reminder to be like, hey, let's figure out a way for people to be able to contribute and have more things in the open. So we're trying to figure that out. We'll at least have some sort of like roadmap, feature set, other ways for the community to see what's going on inside. But I think in an ideal world, we'd love everything to be open source and for you to be able to peek into it, but happy to share
totally makes sense.
Screen with the kind of like commits and the dates of everything, if you have any questions about that.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry we didn't get to use audios, but
next time.
Hopefully for next hackathon. Yeah, we're trying to get back into participating in more hackathons as a team.
That's awesome.
Alrighty, I think that about wraps us up. So thanks for presenting, Yuri. And that's all the groups. Wow, time flies. Thanks a bunch, Jack and Ranil, for judging. Thank you, Lewis, for handling the Zoom wrangling on the back end of this. And yeah, I think that's it. So have a good day, everyone. And that's the end of this judging session.
Thanks for having us.
See y'all.
See ya.
See y'all eventually.